The Haunted Chuckle. Once upon a time, in the eerie town of Wicklebury, there was a quirky little house on the corner of Shivers Street. It was the kind of place that sent shivers down your spine even in broad daylight. The house had a peculiar history, for it was once owned by a notorious comedian named Chuckles the Clown. Chuckles was famous for his bizarre sense of humor, which could make even the grumpiest souls burst into fits of laughter. But Chuckles was also known for his eccentricity. Legend had it that he had a collection of the most peculiar and downright hilarious pranks hidden in his house. People said he had vanished one fateful Halloween night, leaving his house behind, filled with his twisted sense of humor. Years passed, and the house remained untouched until a family, the Crumbleberries, moved into town. The Crumbleberries, like anyone else, had heard the rumors of the house's haunted history, but they were a bunch of thrill-seekers who were up for any adventure. They decided to spend their first night in the infamous Chuckles house. As nightfall enveloped Wicklebury, the Crumbleberry family gathered in the living room. They brought with them popcorn, snacks, and a sense of excitement that could not be quenched. They were convinced that whatever tricks the house had up its sleeve, they would outsmart them. Just as the clock struck midnight, the family heard an eerie, echoing laughter. It was a laughter that made no sense and sent chills down their spines. The lights flickered, and then, out of nowhere, a banana peel appeared on the floor. Mr. Crumbleberry couldn't resist but to take a step towards it, and before he knew it, he slipped comically, crashing into a stack of pies that materialized out of thin air. The family was now in splits of laughter, despite their fear. The room filled with confetti, and the walls echoed with more maniacal laughter. The house was pulling pranks on them, just as Chuckles had done in his life. But as the night wore on, the pranks took a sinister twist. The Crumbleberries found themselves trapped in a maze of funhouse mirrors that distorted their reflections into absurd shapes. They stumbled upon a room filled with creepy clowns whose eyes followed their every move. Yet, instead of screams, they found themselves laughing uncontrollably at the absurdity of it all. As the first rays of dawn broke through, the laughter faded, and the house returned to its eerie silence. The Crumbleberries emerged from their night of laughter and fright, exhausted but alive, with a newfound respect for the house on Shivers Street. From that day forward, the Crumbleberries never feared Chuckles' house. They embraced the madness within and turned it into a tourist attraction, inviting visitors from all over the world to experience the haunted Chuckle for themselves. Chuckles may have vanished, but his legacy of laughter lived on, even in the darkest of nights in the town of Wicklebury. Part 2. Chuckles' Revenge. The years rolled on, and Chuckles' house became a must-visit spot for thrill-seekers, comedy lovers, and curious tourists. People came from far and wide to experience the bizarre, funny, and sometimes spooky pranks of the haunted house. It had become a town legend, and the Crumbleberry family had turned it into a thriving business. But little did they know that Chuckles, the mischievous spirit, had been biding his time in the ethereal realm. He had grown tired of watching people laugh at his tricks and decided it was time for his ultimate prank. One gloomy Halloween night, When the moon hung low and the wind howled through the trees, Chuckles' spirit descended upon his old abode. The Crumbleberries had organized a special Halloween event, promising the most outrageous and hilarious pranks ever seen. They had no idea that Chuckles himself would be the star of the show. As the guests gathered in the living room, the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. The Crumbleberries had set up cameras everywhere to capture the hilarity. But as the clock struck midnight, a chilling silence fell over the house. Then, from the darkness, emerged Chuckles, in all his ghostly clown glory. His spectral form was both comical and terrifying. His makeup was smeared, his oversized shoes squeaked, and his rainbow-colored wig bobbed as he floated through the room. Chuckles unleashed a torrent of puns, one-liners, and slapstick humor that had the guests laughing uncontrollably. But as the laughter reached its peak, Chuckles' prank took a wicked turn. He summoned ghostly props and unleashed a barrage of comically terrifying gags. Chairs levitated, pies flew through the air, and banana peels appeared out of nowhere, causing guests to slip and slide. Chuckles' ghostly laughter grew louder and more sinister, echoing through the house. Terrified guests tried to escape, but the doors and windows were sealed shut. Chuckles had them trapped in his nightmarish funhouse, and there was no way out. As the chaos reached its zenith, Chuckles revealed his true plan: to trap their laughter forever, making them eternally his audience. But just when it seemed all hope was lost, young Timmy Crumbleberry, the youngest of the family, had an idea. He grabbed a rubber chicken that had fallen from the ceiling and squeezed it. The absurdity of the situation hit him, and he started laughing uncontrollably. His laughter was so infectious that the other guests joined in, and their combined mirth was too much for Chuckles to handle. With an explosive burst of confetti and a final, echoing laugh, Chuckles was banished back into the spirit world. The house returned to normal, and the doors and windows flew open. The guests stumbled out, still chuckling and shaken by the bizarre ordeal. The Crumbleberries learned a valuable lesson that night: that humor could be a powerful weapon, even against the most malevolent spirits. They continued to run their haunted Chuckle House, but they made sure to keep Chuckles' spirit at bay by sharing laughter and joy with all who visited. And so, the legend of Chuckles the Clown lived on, not as a vengeful spirit, but as a reminder that laughter could conquer even the darkest of horrors. The haunted house on Shivers Street remained a place of amusement and wonder, where visitors could experience the strange and the funny, and perhaps, just perhaps, catch a glimpse of Chuckles' mischievous ghost, still trying to get one last laugh. Part 3. Chuckles' Redemption. Years passed, and Chuckles' house continued to be a popular attraction, drawing visitors from all corners of the world. The Crumbleberries had refined their act, combining spooky surprises with Chuckles' brand of zany comedy, making it a truly unique experience. One fateful Halloween, a young woman named Emily arrived in Wickleberry. She had heard about Chuckles' house and was intrigued by its reputation as the most entertaining haunted house in the world. Emily, a stand-up comedian herself, couldn't resist the allure of a place where horror and humor collided. As Emily stepped into the house on Shivers Street, she felt a strange connection to the spirit of Chuckles. Perhaps it was her shared love of laughter and the comedic arts. She wandered through the rooms, laughing at the absurd pranks and tricks, and she couldn't help but feel that Chuckles' ghost was watching her with a sense of approval. When the clock struck midnight, as was tradition, Chuckles' ghost made its dramatic entrance. This time, however, something was different. Chuckles didn't unleash a torrent of terrifying gags and pranks. Instead, he began to tell jokes, hilarious, clever, and heartwarming jokes that filled the room with laughter. The guests laughed not out of fear but out of pure joy. Chuckles had transformed from a vengeful spirit into a spectral stand-up comedian, and he was delivering the performance of his afterlife. Emily was in stitches, tears of laughter streaming down her face. She felt a strange connection with Chuckles, as if they were sharing the same comedic wavelength. As the night wore on, Chuckles shared stories of his life and his love for making people laugh. He revealed that he had been trapped in a cycle of vengeful pranks, unable to find peace, until Emily's arrival. Her laughter had broken the curse, and now he could finally find redemption through humor. The night ended with a standing ovation from the guests, who had never experienced such a unique and heartwarming haunted house experience. Chuckles' ghost took a bow, and with a final, heartfelt laugh, he faded away into the afterlife, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and redemption. Emily decided to stay in Wicklebury, taking over the management of Chuckles House. She turned it into a center for comedy and laughter, where aspiring comedians could hone their craft and share Chuckles' spirit of humor and redemption with the world. And so, the house on Shivers Street became a beacon of laughter, where the lines between horror and humor were blurred, and where Chuckles the Clown, once a vengeful spirit, found redemption through the power of laughter. It was a place where visitors didn't just leave with a fright but with a smile, knowing that laughter could conquer even the darkest of ghosts. Part 4. Chuckles Comedy Revival. Under Emily's guidance, Chuckles House became a renowned hub for comedy enthusiasts and aspiring comedians alike. It was no longer just a haunted house. It had transformed into the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater, a place where the spirit of laughter thrived. Aspiring comedians from all over the country came to Wicklebury to learn from the best. The Comedy Revival Theater offered workshops, open mic nights, and comedy festivals. It had become a place where comedians found their voice, honed their skills, and paid homage to the spirit of Chuckles, who had found redemption through humor. Emily, now a well-respected comedian and the curator of the theater, had a deep connection with Chuckles' legacy. She felt his presence and guidance as she performed on stage, and her routines were always infused with a touch of Chuckles' quirky humor. Her stand-up acts often featured stories of the haunted house and her encounter with the mischievous ghost. One evening, as Emily prepared to take the stage for a sold-out show, she couldn't help but wonder if Chuckles was still watching over the theater. She decided to pay tribute to him in her performance that night, sharing stories of the house and the transformation of its ghostly inhabitant. As Emily began her routine, a strange thing happened. Chuckles' ghost appeared on the stage, his spectral form illuminated by a spotlight. The audience gasped in amazement and delight. Chuckles began to perform alongside Emily, delivering punchlines, silly gags, and clever one-liners in perfect harmony. The audience erupted in laughter, and the energy in the theater was electrifying. It was a comedy act like no other, a seamless blend of the living and the spectral, a testament to the power of humor to bridge the gap between the living and the afterlife. As the show concluded, Chuckles took a bow, and with a final, heartfelt laugh, he faded away into the laughter-filled air. The audience gave Emily and Chuckles a standing ovation, knowing they had witnessed something truly magical. From that day forward, the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater became famous not just for its comedy workshops and performances, but for its supernatural comedy collaborations. Comedians from all walks of life would come to perform alongside Chuckles' ghost, creating unforgettable and hilarious moments that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. Chuckles had found his true calling in the afterlife, bringing joy and laughter to all who entered the theater. And Emily continued to be the heart and soul of the Comedy Revival Theater, carrying on Chuckles' legacy and proving that even in the world of comedy, there was room for the supernatural. And so, the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater became a place where laughter was not just a form of entertainment but a force of redemption and unity, where the living and the dead came together to share a laugh, reminding us all that humor had the power to transcend time, space, and even the afterlife. Part 5. Chuckles' Comedy Legacy. The Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater thrived, becoming a world-famous institution known for its unique blend of humor, supernatural charm, and heartwarming stories. Comedians from around the globe made pilgrimages to perform alongside Chuckles' ghost, and audiences traveled far and wide to witness the magical comedy collaborations. As the years passed, the legacy of Chuckles and the Comedy Revival Theater continued to grow. It wasn't just a place for laughter. It had become a symbol of unity and acceptance. People of all backgrounds and beliefs came together under the shared joy of comedy, proving that laughter had the power to bridge gaps and heal wounds. Emily, the guardian of Chuckles' legacy, had become a renowned comedian and mentor. She taught young comedians not only the art of humor but also the importance of embracing their uniqueness. She often shared Chuckles' story, reminding everyone that even the most unlikely circumstances could lead to redemption and purpose. One day, a young aspiring comedian named Sammy arrived in Wicklebury. Sammy had heard about the legendary Comedy Revival Theater and had dreams of performing there. However, Sammy was not your typical comedian. They were a non-binary individual who used comedy to navigate the complexities of their identity and make the world laugh with them, not at them. Emily saw something special in Sammy's act. A fresh perspective and a unique brand of humor that had the potential to resonate with a diverse audience. She invited Sammy to perform at the theater, and the night of their debut was a momentous occasion. Sammy took the stage with confidence, sharing their personal stories and making jokes about the challenges and triumphs of being true to oneself. Their comedy was not just funny. It was a powerful message of self-acceptance and resilience. As Sammy performed, Chuckles' ghost appeared once again, not to steal the spotlight but to support Sammy's act. Chuckles' presence added an extra layer of humor to Sammy's routine, as they playfully interacted with the ghostly comedian. The audience, touched by Sammy's honesty and humor, erupted in laughter and applause. It was a magical night, a celebration of comedy, diversity, and the enduring legacy of Chuckles. Sammy's success at the Comedy Revival Theater marked the beginning of a new era. The theater became a haven for comedians of all backgrounds, orientations, and walks of life. It was a place where laughter transcended boundaries and where the power of comedy was harnessed for positive change. Chuckles, once a vengeful spirit, had found redemption through laughter and had become an eternal symbol of unity and acceptance. His legacy lived on not only through the theater but through the countless comedians and audience members whose lives had been touched by the magic of comedy. And so, the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater continued to shine as a beacon of laughter and acceptance, proving that comedy could be a force for good, bringing people together and reminding them that, no matter who they were or where they came from, there was always a reason to laugh, love, and embrace their unique selves. Part 6. The Chuckles Comedy Festival. As the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater continued to thrive, it became a hub for innovative comedy, celebrating diversity, and showcasing emerging talents. Emily's leadership and Chuckles' spirit of comedy created an environment where comedians felt free to experiment and push the boundaries of humor. One day, Emily had a brilliant idea: a Chuckles Comedy Festival. It would be an annual event where comedians from all over the world would gather to perform, learn, and celebrate the art of comedy. The festival would be a tribute to Chuckles and his enduring legacy of laughter and redemption. The first Chuckles Comedy Festival was a resounding success. Comedians of all backgrounds and styles flocked to Wicklebury, eager to participate. The town buzzed with excitement as comedy enthusiasts from near and far descended upon the Comedy Revival Theater for a week of laughter and camaraderie. During the festival's opening night, Chuckles' Ghost took the stage once again, not as the headliner but as the host. His presence added an extra layer of enchantment to the event, and he introduced each comedian with his signature blend of quirky humor. The festival featured a diverse lineup of comedians: stand-up comedians, improvisational troupes, sketch artists, and even musical comedians. It was a showcase of the rich tapestry of comedy, where laughter knew no boundaries. As the festival unfolded, something magical happened. Comedians from different backgrounds and cultures found common ground in humor. They used comedy to address societal issues, challenge stereotypes, and promote understanding. Laughter became a universal language that transcended differences and brought people together. One of the festival's highlights was a performance by Sammy, the non-binary comedian who had made their debut at the Comedy Revival Theater. Sammy's act was a celebration of diversity and a powerful message of acceptance. Chuckles' Ghost joined Sammy on stage, creating a memorable and heartwarming moment that left the audience in tears of laughter and joy. The Chuckles Comedy Festival continued to grow in popularity, attracting comedians and audiences from around the world. It became an annual pilgrimage for comedy lovers, a place where laughter was not just entertainment but a force for positive change. Emily, Sammy, and Chuckles' Ghost stood at the forefront of this comedic movement, reminding everyone that humor had the power to heal, unite, and transform lives. Chuckles, once a vengeful spirit, had found redemption through laughter, and his legacy continued to inspire generations of comedians and comedy enthusiasts. And so, the Chuckles Comedy Festival became an enduring celebration of laughter, diversity, and the boundless possibilities of comedy. It was a testament to the enduring legacy of Chuckles the Clown, who had turned a haunted house into a beacon of acceptance, where laughter could change the world, one joke at a time. Thank you so much to all the viewers who joined us on this incredible journey through the story of Chuckles the Clown and the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater. We hope you've enjoyed this tale of humor, redemption, and unity as much as we've enjoyed sharing it with you. If you've laughed, smiled, or been touched by the story, we kindly ask you to show your support by liking this video, subscribing to our channel for more engaging content, and sharing this video with your friends and family if you think they'd enjoy it too. In summary, our story began with the haunted Chuckles house, where a family discovered the power of humor to overcome fear. Chuckles' spirit found redemption through laughter, and the house evolved into the Chuckles Comedy Revival Theater, a place of unity and acceptance. The Comedy Revival Theater hosted an annual Chuckles Comedy Festival, where comedians from all backgrounds celebrated diversity through humor, proving that laughter could change the world. Once again, thank you for being a part of this incredible story, and we look forward to sharing more exciting adventures with you in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you've enjoyed this journey. Stay tuned for more laughter, love, and acceptance.